So I remember a few years ago, somebody asked me, don't you get bored just staying home all the time? And I had to laugh a little because I thought of all of the things I'm working on at home, books I still have to read, and working in my garden, all kinds of things I can't wait to get back home to do. And it just made me realize people who think that just staying home is boring think about home in a way different way than homebodies do. For many of us, home isn't where life stops. Home is where life happens. And there are a few things I've never really understood about how some people think about excitement and fun and happiness. Hi friends, I'm Mary Beth. Welcome back to Peace in Progress. Why is busy automatically better? After the weekend and you go back to work, everybody asks you, what did you do over the weekend? And I say, not much, just stay at home. Why does that feel like it's not as impressive or not as good as somebody who spent the weekend going to a concert or going to a party or having a bunch of people over? Like, why is having a packed schedule seen as better than someone who quietly stays at home and maybe works on some home repairs or some creative projects or even just reads a book or watches movies? Why isn't that as socially acceptable to say? I just know I feel like when I say that week after week, I just stayed home or not much, I just start to feel like, am I missing out on something? Even though I know that's not true. You just feel the need to impress people with what you did over the weekend. And it's not like I never leave the house. It's not like I don't go places. I do sometimes. I'm just very selective about where I go and what I do and who I spend time with. When I'm at home, it's usually just me, my husband, maybe my daughter, if she's around, and my cats. And I'm okay with that. But some of my happiest weekends probably look really boring on the outside. People who think you just stayed home again, they don't really know or maybe care what I did over the weekend because it just sounds boring. But why is staying home considered boring when there really is a lot to do? I always have some kind of project going, or I'm working on a new hobby. I've often spent hours and hours working on some kind of project, totally immersed in it and just feeling so creative and alive. And never once have I thought, I wish I was somewhere else. I wish I wasn't here working on this awesome project. Like, I just never think that. I love being at home where I'm comfortable. I have things to do. I often joke after I've been on a trip, a vacation or something, I joke that when I get back home, I can go right to the refrigerator and get a drink or something to eat, whatever I want. And the bathroom is right there. I don't have to search for a bathroom. Like, it's the little things. I don't need to seek outside things to do all the time. I don't find staying home boring at all. And sometimes it's hard to explain that to somebody else. I think one thing that homebodies really understand is just the peace that we get from staying at home. Like, to me, it's not appealing at all to spend a couple hours driving somewhere, having to find somewhere to park, standing shoulder to shoulder with people. Not to mention the expense, going out a lot and doing things. It can get to be expensive. Of course, you can do things that don't cost a lot of money, but it seems like a lot of things that people do get expensive. And a lot of times when people tell me about the things they did over the weekend, I'm like, oh, that sounds fun. Yeah. But I'm thinking, phew, I'm glad I wasn't obligated to do that, or I'm glad I didn't have to go. They just don't sound fun to me, because being at home creates an environment for creativity and a place where I can just do what I want to do, get lost in a project or get lost in a book. Doesn't cost a lot of money. I don't have to fight with crowds. I mean, that's pure happiness for me. And also, being at home isn't about hiding or being antisocial. I think there definitely are some misconceptions about people who prefer to stay home. We really aren't like keeping ourselves out of the world because we have no social skills or that we dislike people. I mean, it's true, I don't like big crowds of people, but I do leave the house and do things with people who are special to me. I like to do day trips. Of course, we've been on vacations. I've traveled all around the world and I've had a great time. But I'm always glad to be back home, to sleep in my own bed, to have all the comforts of home again, and to be able to look back and reflect on a fun vacation, but kind of be glad that I'm back home, back to my regular routine, where I can just relax and be comfortable and have peace and quiet. But being a homebody isn't about withdrawing from life. I think it's just about being really selective with where we go and who we spend time with. And just being able to say, I don't need to do that just to impress somebody or just to have something to talk about next week when everyone asks what you did on your weekend. It's just not important to me anymore. Maybe it used to be when I was younger. I used to be a little embarrassed to say, oh, I just stayed home. I'll say, I got to stay home, or I had a great time working on my watercolor painting at home. Even saying, I got a lot accomplished at home this weekend. So if you're a homebody and feel like you have to justify yourself, maybe you don't. Maybe home isn't boring. Maybe you've just found a way to enjoy a more simple and quiet life that other people maybe won't understand, but you don't need to explain yourself. Are you a fellow homebody? What's something that other people find exciting that you've just never understood? Let me know in the comments. I think it would be really interesting to get a little conversation going about what homebodies think as opposed to what other people think. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and maybe consider subscribing. I'm trying to build a community here of people who can relate to being an introvert, being quiet, being a homebody, and I'm also a night owl, so I have some night owl content thrown in there too. And as always, take care of yourself, and I hope to see you next time.